You're watching Reality Check, where every night we go in-depth behind the big stories. Tonight, the government today faced heat in Parliament over its new crop insurance scheme, whether that's benefited insurance companies. Now, the scheme has been an important defense for the government at a time of farmers' unrest. The centre has billed it as a more wide-ranging than previous attempts at crop insurance. They say it's cost farmers less and has led to faster payments for their damaged crops. But a new report claims that insurance companies might have made a profit of rupees 10,000 crores in the last crop season off of the scheme. The government has sought to rebut these findings. But are its explanations convincing? Yojna Moja and Manas Pratap Singh report.
In a village on the outskirts of Haryana, these are wheat farmers. Almost no one here has heard of the centre's flagship crop insurance scheme.
Pradhan Mantri की जो फसल योजना है उसके बारे में क्या जानते हैं?
अभी तो हमें कुछ नहीं होता, सुना है।
तो यहाँ आप ना किसी इंश्योरेंस ऑफिसर से मिले हो, ना कोई कंपनी आती है?
कोई कंपनी है।
Their experience, symptomatic of the flaws in the insurance scheme, detailed in this new report. Its authors claim that insurance companies received close to 15,000 crore rupees in premiums, but the amount claimed by farmers was only about 5,000 crore rupees. This, they argue, suggests that companies made 10,000 crore rupees in profit.
The gross profit calculation that we have put out is a difference between the total premium collected by insurance company minus the claim of farmers.
Stung by the criticism, the government has put out an elaborate 4-page defense. It says insurance claims may be less because crop damage may have been less. Therefore, it's wrong to jump to conclusions on the basis of a single crop season.
So, allegation that 10,000 crore are being made by the private insurers is not correct, number one. Number two, insurance is a product which is dependent on the risk covered as well as the how it plays out in the season. And in the current year, in the case of bumper harvest, it will not be proper to assess the performance of the scheme, the payout of claims, especially after 2 good seasons in the last year.
They also claim the profits are not 10,000 crore rupees, but closer to 6,000 crore rupees.
16,600 odd crore rupees were collected. And our estimation is that the total claims being paid out in Kharif would be around 10,200 crores. So around 6,000 crores is the difference between the claims paid and distributed in Kharif 16.
But that isn't the only allegation made by the CSE in its report. They say that the estimated premium rates during the last cropping season were at 12%, the highest ever. But individual states charged even higher.
The government is very conscious about that. We are regularly working with the companies as well as the biggest reinsurer, the GIC, which is again a government company, which reinsures nearly 50% of the total insurance being done in the country regarding pricing, and we are very conscious about that. We are supporting states in doing their pricing themselves. In fact, our Honorable Minister of Agriculture has written to states that if they feel that they are more comfortable with their own company being floated and registered by them, we don't have any objection to that.
Moreover, the report, citing government data, finds that as of April 2017, farmers have only been paid 30% of the amount for which they have raised claims. This is in violation of the law that says that insurance needs to be paid within 3 weeks after claim. The government data doesn't rebut this. They say against claims of 10,000 crore rupees, only 4,274 crore rupees or 42% has been paid so far. But for the delays, centre blames the states.
They will only release claims when the premium comes in for the entire premium for the crops insured in that area. So that being the case, there have been some delays in release of the state share, which is impacting the timely payment of claims. We are working with the states to ensure that they release their share timely.
Barely 27% of Indian farmers are covered by insurance, mainly because of high premiums, poor assessment, and delayed payments. The new scheme was supposed to change all of that. Despite the government's elaborate defense, more and more questions are surrounding the government each and every day about who really benefits from these changes, the farmers or the insurance companies. With Yojna Moja and Srinivasan Jain, Manas Pratap Singh, NDTV. And as I mentioned earlier, there was a tremor of this particular report in Parliament, with the Congress bringing it up, charging the government with allowing private insurance companies to profit from the scheme.
फसल बीमा योजना के बारे में बहुत कुछ हमारे मंत्री जी ने कहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री फसल बीमा योजना से बहुत लाभ हुआ है किसानों को, लेकिन इतना मैं बता दूं कि लाभ हुआ है तो इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज को लाभ हुआ है, किसानों को लाभ नहीं हुआ है.
Okay, so there's a clear case there of a question mark over whether this is indeed the case or not. Joining me tonight to debate this, Jagdish Shettikar of the BJP, economist. Thanks very much for being here with us. Also Chandra Bhushan of the Center for Science and Environment, one of the authors of that report. Siraj Hussain, ex-Union Secretary Agriculture, joining us as well, and Harish Damodaran, Agriculture Editor of the Indian Express. There are a number of points, Jagdish Shettikar, in that report, and not just in that report, but even a lot of reporting around this Pradhan Mantri, Fasal Bima Yojna, the insurance scheme, which has raised questions about it. But let's take it one by one. Let's start with the first headline charge, as it were, that private insurance companies have benefited, have profited by 10,000 crore rupees. Now, the government's argument is that, look, you can't just take this on a single year basis. There'll be good years and there'll be bad years. So in a good year, yes, they may make profit, but on a bad year, they'll take a hit. But the suggestion seems to be that the premiums are also very high, much higher than in normal cases. A lot of the mechanisms for farmers to claim damages are not in place. So it does end up benefiting the insurance companies, and hence the 10,000 crore figure.
No, first of all, I don't agree the term profit.
Okay.
Because if 10,000 is remaining with the insurance, I am
Right.
not defending the insurance companies.
Sure.
But if the 10,000 crores is remaining, it
Yes.
is a liability on the part of the insurance companies, whether it is the banks or any the organization, it is a liability. So it cannot be called as a profit.
So right
Now,
at the, so you're just saying that it's a
No.
terminological
No,
thing. It's
if somebody says that crop insurance scheme has failed to serve the purpose of farmers,
Yes.
I am prepared to accept it, because probably somewhere there is a communication gap. Like in the case of the general insurance,
Okay.
you cannot get the compensation from the insurance company straight away just because your car or some other reason met with an accident. You have to prove that.
Okay,
Now,
let me-
and it quite possible that the farmers may not be aware of what is due to them. So
Okay,
there are so many factors are involved.
Okay,
And
we'll,
now
we'll come to all the factors
Yeah.
one by one,
Right.
but at least you're candid enough to admit that there may be problems
Yeah,
with
that-
the scheme. Chandra
yeah.
Bhushan, if I can just take that to you, that, firstly, is it fair to call the 10,000 crores as a profit? And secondly, the government's defense that, look, you can't just base it on estimates of 1 year, you have to look at it over a period of time before you got able to make that argument that this is allowing windfall gains to insurance companies.
See, I think, Srinivasan, the issue is fundamentally high actuarial premium rates. And what we have found is that in certain states and in
Sorry to
certain
interrupt.
districts,
When you say actuarial
the
premium rates, just to
are,
explain
for
that to the
example,
viewer,
in Gujarat it is about
actuarial premium rates means like estimates of how much the premium should be.
That's the actual, the total premium rate, which is a combination of what farmer pays plus the subsidy of the state government and the central government that goes into the premium. So the actual premium on the crop insurance
Yes.
in Gujarat was about 21%. In certain districts, the premium rates were 40%.
Right.
Now, we need to understand that with such high actuarial premium rate, you cannot sustain a viable insurance scheme which is going to benefit farmer. It is almost like 40% of the value of crop is the premium for this premium for the crop.
Okay.
Now, this is unviable proposition. The all India actuarial premium rate in Kharif 2016 was 12.6%,
Okay,
which is
what-
very, very high.
Okay,
We
this is
don't
higher,
want
and
to
also just
compare
to-
it with other countries, but the fact is
this is also, and just to put this in perspective, you're saying that this figure, this percentage, has been much higher than in the past. Because one of the government's claims has been that they actually are going to be bringing down
much
premiums.
Higher in the past, much higher in the past.
Okay, much higher than in the past. The other thing
in a good year, the premium should have come down. In a good year, in a good monsoon year, premium should have been down, not up.
Okay, but the other, but also just to explain to the viewer what you're trying to say here is because under this scheme, it's actually the farmer who will only pay between about 1 to 2% premium, and the government, state and center, have to bear the burden of the rest. So this high premium, the hit is not going to be on the farmer as much as it is on the governments, and you're saying that itself is untenable. Am I right?
Yeah, the fact is that you have a limited money for agriculture, which has to go from soil to crop management to water management.
Okay.
And if agriculture insurance itself is going to take a large part of government subsidy,
right,
then it's a real problem.
Okay.
So I think we need to look at this issue in a wider context.
Okay. Can I before we go wide, I want to bring in Siraj Hussain. Siraj Hussain, thank you for being on the show with us. I read your piece on the on the Prime Minister's Yojna, which you wrote along with Mr. Ashok Gulati, the former head of the Commission on Agricultural Prices, in which you said that if you look at the data in terms of the number of people who have been enrolled in this scheme compared to the past, it is quite staggering. There's been a big jump. But you also did raise concern, amongst other things, about these high premium rates that Chandra Bhushan was talking about, and which in a sense is being reflected by the findings of this report.
Actually, if we see the new scheme,
yes,
there are many successes and a few failures.
Right.
The success is that the new scheme has been able to substantially increase the number of farmers and the sum insured. The sum insured is now exceeding 2 lakh crores,
right,
which is about double the amount of the sum insured last year.
Right.
Similarly, the area has increased, the number of farmers has increased.
Yes.
However, I would say that the scheme has not been very successful so far in settling the claims expeditiously. So that is a big challenge. Now, as far as the premiums are concerned, I think
only
we should not be
30% of farmers have
comparing the
received
premium
payments. That
rates
was the
received.
figure in the report, just to put that out there. Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah. So that is correct. That is why I am saying that a lot more needs to be done to settle the claims expeditiously. But let me address the issue relating to the actuarial premiums. Actually, it would be wrong to compare the rates of premiums received this year as compared to the premium rates received in previous years, because earlier the premiums were received in the National Agriculture Insurance Scheme, which was not a market-based scheme. There the claims were paid by the center and the states.
Right.
In the new scheme, the center and the states do not pay any claim.
Okay.
Actually, there was a view when we were formulating the scheme, there was a view that Indian agriculture is not insurable.
Right.
Now the thing is that if we want a scheme of insurance,
yes,
then this is the best possible scheme, and I must compliment the government for keeping the rates of premium so low.
Okay.
Now the challenge before the government, both the center and the state, is to devise a mechanism which would ensure very early completion of crop cutting experiments, uploading of data in real time, and paying the claims within 3 weeks as the guidelines envisage.
Okay, can I just bring in Harish Damodran here? One of the concerns, Harish Damodran, which the report doesn't specifically address, but which is something that you would have definitely experienced as someone who covers agriculture, is that whether it was earlier or now, the problem with these insurance schemes is that it's linked to your bank loan as a farmer. So automatically, the moment you get your loan, the premium gets cut, you take a hit as a farmer, and oftentimes you don't even know. And that becomes in some ways both a problem for a farmer and also a disincentive to actually go in for insurance. And this doesn't seem to address that.
No, I think I would still say that, I don't think the premium rates, by the way, are very high.
Okay.
Okay. I believe they are reasonable. They are based on actuarial calculations, risk-based, whatever, statistical risk assessment.
Fair
the
enough.
problem is precisely as Mr. Siraj Hussain said. The problem has to do with timely payment. And that, I think, has to do with a fundamental design flaw in the scheme.
Okay.
It is called Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojna. But the center bears only 50% of the subsidy. The remaining 50% comes from the states. The states also undertake the crop cutting experiments. So all these things when they are doing, and still you are saying Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojna. See, if the center, if you are promoting a flagship scheme, you should take 100% ownership. You should pay everything. See, right now what is happening is
you're saying that because it's split between center and state.
So basically, the states
leading to more complications, leads to more delays and red
the
tape.
states take their own time to give the premium. So the guy who loses out ultimately is the farmer. You know, see, like for example, you have fertilizer subsidy. The center gives 100% the subsidy. Why can't it do the same thing? According to me, crop insurance is worth subsidizing more than fertilizer. So it should give 100%. It should take ownership. There is no point in saying that, you know, in this case, what you're doing is you're going to dilute brand Modi. You know, if the payments are not made and all these things. And by the way, I think the person earlier, I think the Joint Secretary was saying that, you know, this was a normal year, so therefore the payments were not there. In Tamil Nadu, the total premium collected was 953 crore, and they have dispersed just 22 crores.
Right.
Okay, so and the worst drought in 140 years, and farmers have got just 22 crore. So the problem is nothing to do with premium, whether it is high or low. It has entirely to do with payout, and that is because the center is not taking full 100% ownership.
Okay, so let me just bring that question to you, Chandrabhushan, which I put to Harish about this other problem, which I said is where farmers find that the premium is being deducted from their crop loan, their agriculture loan, and that's something which they are, you know, they're not even aware of. And in fact, there have been ground reports which suggest that banks are actually deducting the premium based on crops which may not necessarily be what the farmer has even planted. So you could be planting wheat and you'll get, you know, the insurance premium deducted for soya bean. So that's a, you know, how does one address that problem as well?
Srinivasan, just want to go back to actuarial for a minute. If your actuarial premium rate is 12.5%, and if you want to cover 50% of farmer of the country in agriculture insurance, the premium subsidy of the government will be 1 lakh crore rupees. Okay?
Right.
So 1 lakh crore. So that's something that we need to understand. So I do not agree with other panelists, because I think we need to look at premium rates much more carefully. One of the demand of the report and recommendation of the report is that we need an independent regulator for agriculture insurance, that is becoming very big.
Okay.
Now coming back to the issue of farmers, in the report we have documented many problems. The scheme remains a loany farmer scheme, which means that 95% of the farmers who have been covered under schemes are those who take loan from the banks.
Right.
Only about 5% are non-loany farmer.
Right.
Sharecropper and tenant farmers are not included, which in many states are significant number of farmers. For example, in Bihar, you will find that significant proportion of farmers actually are sharecropper, and they will never get the insurance because the law doesn't allow them legally to do sharecropping.
Right.
We have also found that there has been farmers are not informed. We have found problems in terms of wrong crop for which insurance has been given.
Right.
Obviously, there has been a problem in cross-cutting experiment. Now, these things are not new. We have 20 years of experience of agriculture insurance, as Mr. Siraj said. We had National Agriculture Insurance Scheme.
Right. So, I take the point that you're making. You're saying that these are not necessarily new problems, but they do continue onwards. Jagdish Shettikar, the point is that when you pitch this scheme as something which is the kind of big gesture towards farmers, especially at a time when the government is facing so much heat over not being able to address farmers' anxieties, and then you find all these problems coming out one after the other, isn't it politically embarrassing?
I don't think that it is politically embarrassing.
Okay.
And even when Digvijay Singh raised this issue in the parliament, he should have raised the CAG report. In fact, the CAG report pointed out that more than 3,600 crores of money has been given to non-farmers. Why didn't he raise it? And this relates to the
in previous insurance schemes under the Congress government.
That is from 2011 to, I think, 2016.
Right.
Now, between
but that's
this
not really, I mean, they did it, so, I mean, that was a mess, so this is a mess. That's really not the defense, though.
I am not defending that is a mess. The fact is that somehow we have not been able to implement this scheme so that the farmers will get, I mean, the protection from the crop insurance.
Right.
So we have to see that what are the reasons. Now, the point raised by Harish.
Yes.
Now, there are many schemes, welfare measures, since the last 10-15 years,
yes,
where the center and the states share the burden.
Right.
Now, since agriculture is basically the state subject, so there is nothing wrong if the 50%.
No, but then why call it, I think his point was then why call it the Pradhan Mantri?
No, Pradhan Mantri.
Bima Fasal Yojna.
Pradhan Mantri
then you need to take ownership.
No, doesn't mean that any individual prime minister. Pradhan Mantri means the Pradhan Mantri, whether it is a BJP today or tomorrow, it may be somebody else in the power.
Right.
But it is basically he is the leader, so it is a named, because earlier there are 3-4 schemes.
Right.
It got merged and they call it Pradhan Mantri.
Okay. Okay, I get it. Last quick points from Harish and then from Siraj Hussain, that the argument that this has been very successful in terms of enrollment is still something which is somewhat surprising, because on the ground, if you go out, and I'm sure you've traveled as well, so many Indian farmers have simply not heard about crop insurance, whether it was previous ones or this ones. Do you see any change at all?
No, that's precisely for the reason, because you're a lonely farmer, so automatically it gets deducted and the farmer doesn't know. So this coverage thing is bunkum. I mean, that has no meaning. I would evaluate it purely from payout. Like Tamil Nadu, if you don't, I mean, this is the worst drought in 140, 150 years in the delta.
Right.
If farmers have not got paid for it, then there's something seriously wrong. So what are you talking about remote sensing and drones and all these things? See,
when simple payments are being delayed. Siraj Hussain, absolutely the last word from you, that you can't really look at success in terms of those enrolled, because so many people may not even know that they're being enrolled. So in that sense, fundamentally, would you say that there are some core problems with the scheme?
No, there is no doubt that the scheme needs to improve, but let me put the data straight. Actually, the minister unfortunately gave old data in parliament.
Right.
See, in Tamil Nadu alone, claims paid are about 900 crores. Out of a premium of 960 crores, the claims paid are 900 crores, which is, very, very high. Similarly, the percentage of non-loany farmers this year is 22% and not 5%.
Right.
See, the thing is that availability of data distorts the discussion. Therefore, it is necessary, and I am writing an op-ed which will come in Indian Express on next Monday, hopefully, in which we are saying that it is necessary that data should be released in public domain so that there is no disinformation. Now, just imagine everybody is saying that in Tamil Nadu claims are pending while the Agriculture Insurance Corporation has paid 900 crores.
Okay. Okay, fair enough. I mean, often there is a disconnect between what is publicly available data and what is available.
I just want to add something.
Two governments, and I think that'll be fair that if it's released, then we can have a more informed discussion. But at least on just on merit and on some of the facts that have emerged, it does appear that there is much more that the scheme needs to do in order to be able to meet the high expectations it set. But thank you very much, gentlemen, for what has been an absolutely fascinating discussion. Jagdish Settigar, Chandra Bhushan, Harish Damodaran and Siraj Hussain. We'll have to leave it there on Reality Check. Thanks for watching. Good night.